more of a finesse game. It's more of, small ball. Which personally I don't really care much for. I like kind of smash mouth, old school basketball because that's what I grew up watching. You know what I mean? And I also think it's much less physical. Much less physical. Some of the flagrant fouls that I see called nowadays is just makes me nauseous. You can't touch a guy without it being a flagrant foul.
Is there a way to ever reverse that, you think?
I don't know. Kids might be a little too sensitive for that nowadays.
As you're well aware of free agency, and I hear all this talk about free agency, and if I were a couple of teams, and without mentioning them, I would be furious that my players would be mentioned out there. This player is going to go this place, he's going to go to someone else. I'd be furious. I don't think it's fair to the teams. It's all started by players' interactions with each other. These players are friends, man, and they create all the controversy. The thing that I most dislike about today's game, if a team is getting beat by 25 points and you've got your star players sitting over there laughing on the sideline, if I was the executive running that team, that person would be in my office the next day. And I want to know what's so damn funny. It's not, this is serious.
Is this the team losing or the team winning?
The team losing.
So if they're laughing over there.
I don't like that at all. I think it shows a disrespect for the game and for people playing that. But if you watch the NBA, it has changed so much over the years. It's about entertainment. Dan, the rules are so relaxed, okay? They are just so relaxed. I think it's easier to score now than it's ever been in the history of basketball. People like entertainment. Entertainment is scoring.
Also, these guys are all friendly. Were you ever friendly with anybody you played against? Like Oscar Robertson or Clyde Frazier or?
No. When the game was going on, I despised them. After the game, I had great respect for them. And more importantly, I appreciated their skill. But today, these kids start playing against each other when they're in AAU basketball. Yeah. Kids from California can be friends with kids in New York, Florida. They get to know each other. And Miami had a real unique situation a few years ago. LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh all get together. And my best guess is they said, we're going to go play to Miami. I don't care how much you talk to people. There has to be some reason that players of that caliber come together because they want to play with each other. They like each other. They still communicate with each other. One of the things that's most shocking in my life, because players didn't interact off the court then, was that Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell used to have dinner together a lot. And if you would look that, they would say disparaging things about Wilt and talk about how great Russell is, and they thought they did not like each other. But they were one of the first two that would ever do that. And I will tell you that when they played against each other, you never saw it. But I would not want to do that as an athlete. I just, to me, don't sleep with the enemy, okay?
Are you a fan of just load management?
No.
You're a fan of?
No.
You don't like load
dump
management?
Truck manager, that's about it. Load man, I mean, it's a different time. I mean, he's just a guy making $40, $50 million, and I think that you should want to play.
Right.
People paying your salary. The kids come to the game, they want to see you, especially when West Coast come to East or East Coast go West. You got to play these games, especially the team you want to play once at home, once on the road. You got to play these games, but I think they allowed into the business now because league got so soft. It's a players' league. They get what they want. So I feel sorry for the fans. I'm apologizing from the old school guys that y'all had to go through this. I really apologize. I'm sorry, but hopefully maybe they might, straighten it out. But like I said, they said cut the schedule down to 72. They still gonna miss. If it's 72, they gonna play 60. If it's 62, they gonna play 50. So
you like that? You like this? You like the cutting down to 72?
I mean, maybe they might try to say, okay, this means a lot more to the fans. The 10 games, they said they don't like play back-to-back. They cut the back-to-backs. Right. So now they said 82. We played 82. I played it for my 18. We wasn't copping out because it's part of your job. Facts. They don't, see, that's going to show you, it's about work. When they start something, all this and that, my finger, that's lazy. That's why a lot of teams don't win. That's why it's hard to build a team these days, because good chemistry you got to have. And the league right now is missing a lot of leaders. It's not a lot of leaders on this team. They just playing. Everybody just run them down court like kids, but they just making a lot more money.
Right.
So these teams get more leaders. They getting all the old guys out of the game, because we can speak up.
Right.
So when you know somebody speak up, they try to spank you. So I know, because they told me, oh, you this, you that. I said, I'm gonna be myself. I respect you, I'm doing my job. So it is what it is, So they try to push you out the whole thing, and we need to clean up these guys, old guys, they just making it hard on us. No, we just trying to teach the young guys how to be a professional.
I got a question though, because you were someone who had your career and then went into coaching, and you kind of, obviously every generation and every era is different. What is the difference between the players today and maybe the players, how they were when y'all played, and then kind of towards the end of your career when we were coming in?
We had basketball IQ. We understood basketball. We paid attention to details. We wanted it. We understood what it took to win. We put in the work to win. It wasn't fake work. Some guys out there fake working because they got to be out there and the camera on them. You could really look in their face and see if they want to be out there. Like we wanted to be out there. When we came out there, we had a face on our face, like, yeah, it's gonna be on right here. When we come out, y'all, people come out to shoot, and when they times to shoot, yeah, we not hugging it, baby. We not kissing this person. We not doing this. We not doing that. We coming out here and we shooting the basketball. Our mind is ready to play the game of basketball. We have a job to do. This ain't fun time. This is basketball time. This is our job. This is our work. And that's what it was about. Today, it's about, hey, kissing babies here. Chauncey Billups said, he said, somebody at halftime, he ran in there and looking at it and posted his stuff at halftime.
Posted a dunk.
Yeah, posted a dunk. Chauncey said, what are you doing, man? Your mind's supposed to be in the game.
They was getting blown out too.
Right. If you want to be back here, you stay back here. You can't even come out to the bench. That's what today's game is. But when we played, we had an attitude.
And I love Steph Curry. Can you imagine if the bad boys was beating the hell out of him? Bill, can you imagine that? As much as I love Steph Curry, if you think that he could take those blows that John Sally, Dennis Rodman, Bill Laimbeer, those body checks that they were putting on Michael and Scotty and myself and guys like that, you really think Steph Curry wouldn't break?
I mean, everything he said is that's what it is. I'm not saying they can't play in this game, but they got to understand it was so different back then. It was so physical, and they got to be ready for it. You got to be cutting your nature to be able to survive in that gauntlet back then. Like, it was crazy, man. Like, I remember my first day of watching practice when I got traded to Portland, and I watched practice for 2 days, and I'm watching these dudes go at it, and man, bro, I was shook at the crib going, I was like, golly, man, I don't know if I'm gonna survive.
Like the physicality?
Just how, the physicality, everybody was playing, how these, just everybody's stuff was sharp and tight, and, mind you, it wasn't no training back then. The dudes wasn't specialty training, they were just hooping. Reactionary players. It wasn't like, robotic, it wasn't that. Guys was out there they were swerving, and, it was aggressive, and dudes dunking, and I was like, God. Like, man, this stuff crazy. It took me a couple months to really just let it slow down, because I was getting beat up and it was just so much. And I was like, man, I got a mindset like I got to be the one throwing the first punch. I ain't just going to be taking all this. I got to be the one that's going to be the initiator. And sometimes you can initiate and guys are kind of, but man, KG was spot on with everything he said, in my opinion.
If I'm being honest, bro, I don't think anybody in this generation could have played like 20 years ago, if I'm being 100. And this is to everybody in our league, Tatum, all y'all. Let me tell y'all something, bro. 20 years ago, bro, you couldn't get to a triple step back.
Nah.
You hear what I'm saying to you? You couldn't get to a triple step back. And then if you shot that shit, it had to go in. You know why? Because we had efficiency back in the day, my dude, and it was so fucking hard. It was too physical. And guess what? The league had to come off of it for the flow of movement to be able to have scoring go up, which is why we like to sit here and watch kind of the rat race of the high-paced game, right? But bro, let's not talk about the gamemanship, and let's not talk about the physicality of the game back then. Real shit, because I only think half these kids in the league could have been on an NBA team 20 years ago.
How?
No, bro, it was a different vibration. David Stern did a great job of taking all of the physicality out of the game. You understand? Freedom of movement means freedom of movement. Man, back in the day when you had to get by Paul, because Paul was squared up with you and ready to slide, and then he could body you, he could poke, he could use his hands, but I can use my hands.
I can fight through a screen.
Bro, the shit that we saw in the Olympics was similar style play when the guard can ride you damn near over the pick.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to get out of that, and a nigga like Holiday, when he come out and he get over, he there.
Right.
So if you go to cross him, bro, you don't even. That's what I'm saying, bro. Man, the levels in which you had to be not only strong enough, but skilled enough to get by this nigga in front of you. You understand? And then, they ain't never seen a 6'7" Rodman.
Have you ever been a coach?
No,
Did you ever want to be a coach?
no. I have no patience for coaching. You know, my biggest problem from a competitive standpoint is the focus of today's athlete and the focus of where I saw the game, how I pursued the game. It changes and it's totally different. So to me, for me to ask an individual to focus on the game the way I played the game, in some ways would be, unfair for that kid to have to endure that. And if he didn't do it, no telling where my emotions would be. I don't think I would have the patience for it. So in essence, coaching is something that I've never really felt I could do from an emotional standpoint because I'm much different and I have a different perception about things than what the kids do today.
That's where I come in, right? You save up your money, buy some tickets for your kids, and then they go to see their favorite player, and he's just resting. What's your take on that? But then I guess the players say they need a rest. I don't know. You hate it.
I hate it. I dislike it. I was just at Michael Jordan's 60th birthday party. He pulled me to the side. And we talked about that for 30 straight minutes.
Really? Because back in the day, you guys
played every game.
No rest.
We want to play every single game. We couldn't wait to get out there on the court. And it's about your ego, your passion, your love for the game. It's about those fans who, like you said, paid their hard-earned money to watch you play this game of basketball. And then we're getting paid to play something that we love.
Sure.
I mean, so you got to get out there. And last but not least, it's about your team, where you stand. You're losing games when you sit out.
Yes.
And so I dislike it. I hope they get rid of it. And for the fans and for the organizations and for the overall health of the game.
I've